SEAK Claus Winkler. This video is an art performance as well as an art video. I'm the artist SEAK, or SEAK Claus Winkler, or Claus Winkler, or SEAK1, or yeah, SEAK. Yes, this video is part of my lifelong art performance. And this video is a piece of art itself. And what I don't like is that in the word piece of art, there still has the word fart hidden. Well, yeah. And that's you're already in SEAK land, because SEAK land is also, or in my perspective, because I'm also inside in the words, and it's like I'm distilling myself into the word. Yeah. And I'm self-conscious, but I'm trying not to think about it, because also when in conversation, because then I'm steering with my interpretations of things, the other person, and the other person then thinks it's their own emotions. So, yeah. So this video is in English, and it's an English version from the last video. I'm freestyling this. I just have written something down, and I wrote it in German, so I have to translate it into English for myself. But usually I would say that in English I say different things, and I have a different persona than in German. That also goes along with that in German you say the word Klaus. You would say my name Klaus, while in English you would say Claus. Claus is also like awesome, or so bad, or so horrible, or Claus in terms of the clause. So in Germany I think this question, Einzigartigkeit meiner Formsprache, like uniqueness of or from my visual language. But Einzigartigkeit means like, it's also, yeah, it's literally like uniqueness. Yeah, so my visual language is unique. Yeah, why is it unique? I'm coming from the graffiti scene, and before that I was just when I was a child doing sketches and drawing and comics. Before that I was just drawing. So if you would say I'm from the graffiti scene, that's like it's true. But before that I was also drawing and doing things and painting for myself or drawing for myself when I was a child. So so it's always a matter of framing. I'm famous in graffiti, and that started in the late 1990s, and I inspired artists, graffiti writers all around the world, because I had have developed a special technique which was very like three-dimensional, organic, as well as my style. It kind of like it developed all together. Was like organic, 3D. It's a SEAK called SEAK style, or I call it SEAK style, or the people are calling it SEAK style. Yeah, and it's how I'm painting my letters and my forms, which are then at some point are not identifiable for normal people or for non-graph writers or as letters, you know, but they are. It's usually SEAK, but I can also do all kinds of other letters. When you see my name written for myself on the internet or somewhere, I usually write L letters capital, like SEAK letters capital. But when I paint them, I usually write the E and the A small, in most cases. Because the round shapes, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe in the future I will also paint more drawings or styles or paintings where my A is capital as well as my E is capital. But I also paint the E as a hybrid version, which is like a small e as well, in the same moment also a large capital E. So the uniqueness. In the graph scene in the 1990s, it was about having your own style. The heroes, or those who were huge, from my perspective, and maybe also were here in the area, let's say in North Rhine-Westphalia, Nordrhein-Westfalen, which means like murder. It's like a murder caliphate. Yeah, and we are, of course, I mean, it says everything. Back then it wasn't like that, or it wasn't that worse. Obviously now it's, yeah. there were like a few names which were huge, and they had their own. They were, from my perspective back then, they were like, in a way, like villains or like superheroes from the Marvel universe in a way, because they had their own style, their own way of bombing or painting or writing, as well as in a way their own technique. I don't know if it was technique because it was like all very similar. And they inspired me also in a ways where I respected them, but I didn't particularly like their work. But in the end, I must say I'm influenced by how they painted and stuff like that, which is interesting when you are not considering certain people as role models, but then when you get mature, you reckon how much they influenced you. Interesting. Yeah, it's if I'm honest in a way. So and then back then it was like peer pressure, or it was very stifling. It has to be graffiti has to be with outlines, and it has to be like old school and like in New York, la-di-da, or this or that. And yes, there's nice styles, but we also had here in the rural area the bombing style, the simple style. And all kinds of variations, and people always talk and try to say you have to make it like this and like that, and then you come up with something new. And I came up with something new, and I made all my disadvantages to my advantage, and integrated everything I liked, which I was already interested in, into my style and into my way of painting. Because I was when I was in my teens and in my youth also inspired or interested in certain things, and I also had drawn a lot, and I liked certain things, and I used my drawing or painting for escapism, and I was like brave or courageous or enough to integrate all kinds of things and everything, and also because the word seek was like the E connotation in terms of like disgust, it inspired me or challenged me to say I'm going with my name, with my persona around that name maybe, so I make it my brand to integrate everything which is not appropriate and disgusting or forbidden or evil or bad or anything or abnormal or non-normal, you know, progressive if you will, like like in an abstract way. I integrated everything anti-Western, anti-normalcy, what makes sense for decent living into my style, but also anything which looks cool or stylish or so. But I also, that was in the beginning that I knew I couldn't do any straight line or any sharp line, because I lacked the skill and the handwriting and the can control. So I said, okay, I can't just paint like loose, round shapes. Well, then I make that my style. I make my disadvantage into my advantage. And while everybody is painting sharp and crisp and 3D, and not 3D, but like graphic or stylish, I make everything round, 3D, soft. Yeah, and everything they think it's disgusting or against their aesthetics, I did, you know. And when I was a child, my mom already told me in terms of like not dissing me, but critiquing me or reckoning, Klaus, you do everything different than other children. Yeah, great. I mean, this is like, in a way, I still don't know if she did that to give me like a hint and masking it as like the mom is complaining. That's the path to do it. Or she was trying to keep me away from that, you know. It's a little bit like if a woman tells you do this, you do the exact opposite. But I mean, it's, you know, women raise their sons to become men they themselves wouldn't date because they're ashamed of themselves, and live in their magic wood illusion, trying in euphemism and illusion. So anyway, so the point is, I just did my own style, and I was like critiqued for it, but everybody then wanted painting with me and liked it or jealous, but also didn't want to follow me aesthetically because they were like hooked on other aesthetics, which was good and I was happy about. Because then it contrasts my work, and in a way it contrasts their work too. I mean, it benefits each other, you know. So back then we painted also a lot together with other artists all the time. So like every weekend with other artists and on walls, legal, also illegal trains sometimes. But I wasn't much of an illegal train rider or illegal painter, which pressured me to then be more innovative and more creative to put something into the artistic scene pool of being adding something positive, bringing something to the table, and that's be like inspire others. Also, I created my style in a way that it will make people open for new ideas in their early childhood and connects with them on an early childhood level, while greenlighting or AOKing or overriding all kinds of like, oh, this is disgusting, or sexual shame things, and say, fuck it, just keep on keeping on painting. So I'm trying to give artists, to just go on, you know, just go into the disgust or into the everything like wrong, strong, you know. There's a saying, it feels so good, it must be wrong. And SEAK sounds also like sick, but in Germany also like victory, you know, like there's like a political saying from World War II, which sounds very similar to SEAK, and then, you know, but I can't say it here. Which I just found, but I found that out in the late, I reckoned that in the late 20s, early 30s by surprise. I was like, interesting, you know, it's so it's like sick also in terms of, oh, this is like really a nice stylized lowrider, this, like that. So, and that's like steering me to, to have a unique visual language. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was like on like graffiti.org, on art crimes, on that huge graffiti website, which was very important for the first decades of graffiti, for the first 15 years of graffiti. I was well, my site there, they sponsored me with a website. I was very well visited and very well visited in my guest book and everywhere in forums. Like, there's like people like, oh, they were their favorite artist, like in the Anglosphere usually, like, oh, and they were naming like all kinds of names, like, oh, Lumet, Cantu, Dime, Toast. Toast was back then was new, I think. It wasn't Toast. Lumet, Dime, Cantu, SEAK, Scene, Revoke, but also Chins. And I was like, this is like crazy. This is like all my role models, or like artists I admired, or I had huge respect. Would be like, because I was conscious about what they already had achieved, which, and I was like, well, they all the time, stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, that was a huge compliment. But also it made me, I felt me like, oh, I don't deserve that, or I have to earn that then. Not now, but I have to earn this, I have to be worthy of this. But also, like, it's crazy way people see me and what effect my art has. What else did I said? Uniqueness, my language. Yeah, I became reckoned. I'm just giving you examples about this. Getting recognized the first time I'm in Australia for painting, or just one time there for a month, 5 months, something like that, getting recognized on the street in the beginning years of 2000. Same happening in Los Angeles, getting recognized on the street. Probably multiple times, at a supermarket, buying shops in a supermarket in San Diego. I could keep on in Germany, anyways, everywhere. So it's, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's normal. It's like, something like that. And that happens not because I did so much illegal stuff. It's because of my visual language, my pieces, my paintings. And people I inspired them. I probably put them, I enlarged or enriched their creative horizon, what is possible, inspired them. And they have a trail of people who yeah, multiple generations. I mean, how can I describe this? I'm trying to here in this video or in this videos, and I do it like in 2 languages to add something to the table in another language than the other language than I did in the other video. So it's like uniqueness more my visual language. Yeah, it's one time I was like, that was in the beginning 2000 years, I was watching MTV Music Awards. I don't have a TV, but I watched it somewhere, and I was like, I think it was the one in Spain, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. They copied from me and from another artist colleague, maybe 3 artists where they copied the whole like CI and the whole aesthetics and 3D animations and everything from. But that was back then. Me and a few other colleagues were like super famous in Spain in the new school there, from the young artists who like were then copying us massively. But they also were like, because graffiti was hip, then directly like connected to the commercial world. So they basically they made like money with our style and our influence. It's like, this is like also reflects in my name, SEAK Claus Winkler. My name says here, take it and steal it, and you know, it's it's like I have the perspective. I'm like an oil barrel walking through the woods and seeing there's like someone is littering the nice wood, the nice biotope, the nice eco area reservoir with a littering with a tissue, with a used tissue, and I was like, oh, let's get that tissue and put it in a trash bin, and I'm like bending over, and then the oil sweeps on the floor and makes a mess. So. And that energy is in my name, SEAK Claus Winkler. But it also goes in the other way. This is one interpretation of many, so there's lots of interpretations. Okay, einzigartig, like uniqueness in my visual language. Any other examples for my visual language? Yeah, I mean, I integrated everything in my visual language, which others didn't, and it was like, and there's like, I have like conscious explanations why I integrated something, but also unconscious. And I have, these days I know several, like I know the thing why I think I did something, but there's other levels on a subconscious level why I did something, and they're all valid. So, yeah. And then that inspired then artists all around the world, and yeah. So, and now I'm not stuck, but I have the responsibility to paint in a work rotation, my style. Yeah, and also like keep on keeping on while adding new things to it, and while I'm having ideas for other things. Yeah, and the first fans or followers or artistic people I inspired in the 90s. Yeah. I mean, over the decades, I became always mails or comments like, hey, since childhood, la-di-da, and you're my hero, la-di-da. And when I'm in a club in Cologne, it was often someone's like, you SEAK? And it's like, when I'm somewhere, every few weeks or months, not weeks anymore, but maybe months, this happens, depending where I am. It's crazy. So I was like, and this goes just because from my visual language, from my style in combination with my technique. That's the only reason. I mean, yeah. So there's this uniqueness. So yeah, I can make like video series about that, but also must say it in a nice way. Otherwise, you think I'm too full of myself, la di da. Long-term value development. I'm not a super rich art investor guy. So how can I talk about my long-term value development, langfristige Werteentwicklung around my art? The question is which kind of parameters or you just make a decision why you want to buy something, you know? You want to buy something from me, from paintings I painted like 15, 20 years on 2 sides in large. Well, I can also sell them to some super rich billionaire. Why should I sell it to you, you know? I can also sell you a smaller painting, which is also then looks good. Maybe it's even better, you know, from a graffiti writer point of view. You know, if you see it through the eyes of a graph writer, which you can't if you are not someone, but you can still have like an empathy. Yeah, you can see, oh, this style is like super cool, or this ink drawing, la-di-da, in comparison to this. Okay, this is also great, but, you know. So there's like different, I don't know, it's like when a curator told me once I should make my art in a way that I force people to collect myself, because I want something from this direction and that direction. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I paint my paintings myself. I arranged my life that I must paint them myself. Also with this work rotation, painting one work step with all paintings, and then they kind of outgrow out of not ready to become ready anyway. And then I have to have certain micro rotations, so that some paintings become faster onto a level where they impress people when I take photos from it or filming it. While then recognizing today, I must, in general speaking, just paint larger paintings. I have too much small paintings, which I know. I mean, if you're a rich person, you want to have a painting from me, I probably will sell you one I already have, or I continue a certain painting in a certain direction. It depends on how we arrange the budget and stuff. Then you have basically a build upon a painting which is almost ready or on half time ready. But in new paintings, I would just start large paintings indoors as well as outdoors, but probably indoors more. Anyways, I must have a rich oeuvre of large paintings. So the long-term value development, I don't know how people are valuing. I mean, I'm painting my paintings myself. I don't have any assistants. I maybe will have in the future, because I must reinvest something. I must organize myself because I have to burn tax money and reinvest things. Also to preparing it for I want to also have to make children. I just need a proper mothers for this. Then proper children. Then those children also should support my oeuvre when I'm gone. I'm now 51. I'm getting 52 this summer. So I'm painting the paintings myself. There's a natural limitation. And I'm painting my paintings from two sides, and that's what I'm doing since 2011, 12, 13. So all my paintings here in my possession are painted from two sides, which makes them unique, because I have like paintings which are painted from the main side, let's say in 2002, 2001, or 1898, or 2005 or something. But on the other side, they are painted and have grown into complex paintings from the back side from 2013 on, and now we have 2026. So there's like a value and a rarity, and it's like completely what you don't get on the art market, because that's just like, like I have an artist friend who he promised those people or those structures to not tell who it was, but he was at the other artist's studio compound, because his artist friend was invited there, or hired there, to become a coach for portraits, to teach the assistants of that famous artist they were at, for painting make better paintings, as well as painting portraits into the paintings of this artist. And they had like a huge group of people working for them, doing the art, while the official artist who claimed everything wasn't doing any work, or was just signing it in the end or something like that. And that's like, welcome to the art world. And I'm doing it myself, which probably turns fake people off, because it's like too real for them, or it's like, oh, he's so poor, he must paint his paintings himself. You know, Rubens, I don't believe, for example, people who think that Rubens painted like Rubens is the same, he didn't do anything himself, or just very few. It's just a big show. I'm doing it myself. I took it also as an humble or grounding lesson to grow as a person, to do the work myself, because I know how easily I can, drive into grandiosity or ego or being just an airhead or something. So I need being based in reality, and that goes with like learning, painting, drawing, and So a long time value development. I don't know if that's a thing you want to hear. I mean, emotionale Wirkung, die in den großen Raum. Yeah, the emotional impact my work has in large rooms. Interesting, because I thought it's also something negative in a way. Or I knew from a female friend, which like, you have this. She has like a small painting, like it's like, I don't know, it's like this format maybe, with a frame, and she was in a way complaining that the painting isn't large, but is small in a way. She didn't use that word, but it has a huge impact on the room and an effect and a strong and a powerful message. And she was like, maybe people don't want that, or maybe too because they want in the truth they just want some superficial decoration in their, I don't know, high rooms, high ceiling, upper middle class, or not upper middle class, but this is like everybody, all the rich people also see themselves as part of the upper middle class in a way, culturally, like to be sophisticated, la-di-da. I think my work is probably maybe even too dominating or too powerful, but also it will is activating or locking off or releasing the power and the effect the other paintings are having, and that goes with my name, SEAK Claus Winkler. It's like a magic spell or like a booster for the other paintings, and for the effect and for those paintings have or the other artists' names. So that's like an interesting correspondence from energies in a way, like. So yeah, emotionale Wirkung. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on the framing of the painting, not like how you frame it in terms of message, in terms of nudging, like the leftist anti-white system is doing nudging and framing. In terms of how the painting is framed, the paper paintings need a framing with glass also for protection, but my canvases, I don't frame them, but because I also paint them from the side and from the back, but then you have special frames, you can see it from two sides. Yeah, my work is, it speaks for itself. I mean, I'm living here in a house, and I'm living with the paintings while they're growing, or when they think they're finished, then years later I keeping on, and now it's, like I told you. So anyways, the point is that I learned to paint my paintings detailed because it's kind of like smaller, or the house inspired me to paint everything a little bit more smaller or more detailed than I could. That goes with the word Winkler. It means like the L-E-R with the K, kleiner, means like smaller in German. And the L-E-R also has like this nuance of smaller. So I must fight actively in myself against that nuance to make something smaller than rather larger, It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something in the blind point of my perception, or of people's perception. So, and with this, I started painting it more detailed, and then once you go like detailed, you go more detailed, which also is quality. When I see some videos from other artists on YouTube, like to get into the zone or to see what other artists are talking, I cannot just watch videos about replacement and red pill and manosphere and being provide and stuff like that. I mean, the provide stuff is probably Telegram better anyways, or more optimal anyways. So or like certain platforms which is owned by the point is that those details, I mean, how my paintings are, they are like, they have impact, but I also can paint them. This is like on a canvas, this is maybe big, or here it looks big, but this is nothing. I mean, I can paint this in this piece, this SEAK style. I can also do this on 12 meters by 50 meters, or 3 meters or 4 meters by 10 meters. Yeah? I would love also doing this on canvas in large sizes, So, yeah. And in the future, I will probably paint more large paintings, which then creates for me the interesting situation with pricing. But it's another thing. Okay. Ursprung meiner Bilder, like the origin from my Bilder. Yeah, my paintings. Yeah, I mean, this is like a question where I can talk about anything. I mean, I can go back into my childhood. I have my childhood paintings here and drawings. I did videos about that. The toys I played with, the movies I watched, the culture I liked, the history I loved, loving the machines, the aesthetics, the connotations in my name. Maybe the word Klaus. Klaus means also, in German, Klaus, it's spoken Klaus. It means like aus, means like something is off or on, like a machine or something, but also something which just is outside of something, or became outside of something, like which is kind of like when I'm interacting with people, but maybe I'm reading their subconscious or anything, and then I'm painting my paintings and have my own reasons why I'm painting my style, because I want to make like really good items and the perfect masculine item, design, weapon, shiny object, or mask structure, archetype in a way. I mean, you can say it also, you see this also as archetypes, It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is a weapon or a spaceship, or this is like SEAK and it looks like a spaceship, or a dagger, or like an arcade R-Type 2 Omega 500 spaceship flying from left to right, shooting down monsters and other things. It can also be like, you can also see this as an archetype, or like an item, a must-have item, which is like everything in between. You just want to have, and then it is activating also your thinking. So, yeah, because you have to think about what this is. So, yeah. This is already interesting, the video. Okay, process as well as my obsession. Yeah, my process is, I can paint a style like this in a few hours or minutes, also illegal. I mean, that's the beauty of having spray cans. In this detailed form, it takes obviously a little bit longer. But I'm also working on my art in terms of rotations that I have. This painting I painted in like 2 months, with 2 or 3 other paintings aside, where I tried few things just to have like a flow of non-outcome dependence, being loose, being non-attached to the outcome, and then so I have like a variation then naturally of elements inside that which I variate. But I can also but mostly because for practical reasons, I'm painting like in a rotation, like since 16 years, paintings, which I sometimes thought like in 2002 or 2001 they were already ready, where I painted the main side in a few hours or an afternoon, or a few minutes, but then the other side I'm painting since 16 years in rotation, and they're like getting like really complex, so anything is possible, So yeah. Okay, this is I'm kind of superficial in answering these questions. I can go more into the depth here, but it's how the idea. How is the idea? Yeah, how does it relate in my head? Yeah, this is like, in one perspective, seeing this is like, these are letters, it says SEAK, the E and the A are most cases small, like non-capital. So I have like a structure where I say, I want to paint this, SEAK in this style, or I have this idea, or this is a form, or these are the colors. Then, or I have this layout, I want to make like a master plan. I'm going to make like this painting I painted in 2003 or 2003. It was, I thought, become a backpack design for Eastpack Europe and for the Middle East. Then in 2019, I had like a request for this painting, but he didn't have enough money, so he custom me. He hired me or budgeted painting this painting. So, which is like basically then the actual version, which has much more depth than this painting. And this is one of my favorite paintings. So, and I was surprised that it became so good. But this was one of the last paintings where I didn't paint it with brush, or just with very little brush. It was mostly with markers and spray can and airbrush and with finger and everything. So and then I have like, because of this, and it's all like letters, so I have like a structure and a form, and then I'm transforming and squeezing my letters, like lowrider cars or like certain variants from certain tanks, and I love repetition, but I also love variants, and there's like all kinds of ideas, and also I'm sitting off like a stack of like sketchbooks. If I would stack them, they're all like in boxes. It was like this height, just for this, all from both sides, all sides sketch the papers of ideas, Plus, I also want to have like new large paintings. So I'm like, I just have one life. It's, the ideas in my head. I mean, in a way, maybe I'm reading my subconscious from my neighbors and from the people around me, people I'm interacting with, and patterns, consciously as well as unconsciously. And maybe I have an idea, or I have like an intuition, or my painting develops in this direction. Usually I'm always with a structure of SEAK as like the primal filter, or the first way I'm going through with the idea, consciously or subconsciously. And it can be, this is just a theory, that I'm maybe just reading the subconscious from my surrounding. Or in the end, I created something which then explains itself in my life in reverse engineering, where I'm like, oh, interesting. Was this a surprise that this developed in this direction? Like, how much of reality do we really reckon? Because we reckon just a few percent. And how much else is like, we just think we did it because of this or that reason. Yeah, it's a few other videos about that. There also, like, what kind of ideas brought me to this or that painting. There's like different ideas for like different reasons, but I mean, I don't have, and often I don't need much creativity, because I just have like, okay, I have my SEAK style, I want to have my letters in this or that way painted, I want to have more like deep paintings with lots of styles collected, with multiple variations, multiple directions in the same painting, like a curated play toy box from a child or an adult or youth, or like an art collection, which is like interesting, which then creates its own logic, because I don't have any clue about composition or anything, or the golden cut, the golden triangle thing. It's golden triangle, but it's like, what do you call it? It's called, it's like, not consciously, but then I believe that the subconscious then creates like some kind of own intelligence if you paint paintings with multiple layers and put lots of effort in, even when you have like your own aesthetic way of wanting to painting something, it creates indirectly a certain intelligence which unlocks or locks my name and the process with that and its own intelligence. It's interesting. It's obviously it's interesting is a euphemism in a negative way, because it is much further important or essential for anything. What do I feel while I'm painting? Am I fighting or am I in flow? I don't know, fighting, feeling. I'm often listening to audiobooks or to music. Yeah, in the 90s, I can listen to like maybe Dirty South, Rick Ross stuff, like grandiosity thing, which is like stupid because I'm not a drug dealer or not a gangster or anything, but of course it's like this narrative exit, anti-white narrative exit Zog gave us because we can't have own powerful white music heroes, or it's like they download it, or they're like hiding, or it's bad, evil, white, blah blah blah, you know. Anyways, but I'm also listening to all kinds of other music, like rock music, Guns N' Roses, Sisters of Mercy, anything, you know. I don't. Like music can empower you and hype you up, like I'm this and that. But I can also I often listen also to audiobooks. So most of the time, the rap thing these days, when I listen to rap, I also like pro-white rap, which is like prohibited, and where like the protagonists sometimes serve long prison sentences. I don't want to name any names. Just reckon this through a mutual friend, or to a friend from America who's in the pro-white camp, and I'm just listening to them on Telegram, the rap music, but I also listen to all kinds of other music and stuff. So, but most of the time, from Spotify now these days a little bit, but most of the time I'm listening to audiobooks and to YouTube videos, and to iTunes audiobooks. And then I don't know if I feel there a lot, you know, it's because it's like, it's more like entertainment, having a steady workflow, and escapism into a certain area of time and a certain narrative, and then I'm there and connected into that world, and I'm not here, you know. I'm living here, but I'm not, now because of demography and everything is changing and society is separating, I probably will integrate myself more into the people living here, but then just into people who have the same opinion and perspective on life, the Weltanschauung, which is already pro my own ethnicity. So so I'm living my own world, so like my own universe. I'm creating my own universe, and also while painting it, or living so I can paint or working on my art here in my area, my house, and everything, or when I'm somewhere, I'm always listening to an audiobook or something in my own world, my own perspective. So I'm disconnected from the world, so from that world, and I'm connected to my own world. But I also, since 4, 5 years, 6 years, I'm on YouTube and Telegram. I'm not maybe Telegram 2.5 years, 3 years, 24/7. In every second, and knowing what's going on, getting the latest things, what's happening here in Europe, you know, in the former white world. So, I don't know. Like, feelings are just markers, and as a male, it's important to stay unfeminized, and the feminized males are all in their feelings, and it's also nudged that people are not emotional, don't dig up. Not go into the depth, don't research, la-di-da-di-da. So I do the opposite of what Zog says. But I also know that colors and forms, especially colors, are the most strongest manipulator of the human psyche, while being the most underestimated too. So it's worth a few conversation evenings about how colors are working and everything, and forms. What people with this painting? What do I want to give people with my paintings? I don't know. I mean, I'm not thinking about other people when I'm painting. I mean, I do sometimes. Depends on the painting. Like, I'm a little bit exhausted now, but I'll go through now what I'm going to give to the painting. Sometimes when I'm painting for something for others, but it's like someone gave me money for, he wants in this direction, or I have wishes, okay, and I reckon, okay, if I paint this, I trigger him to do this, but he will never know, but I'm meaning it good with the person, so I'm like integrating this color at this part there, so he will be protected from that, but a painting delivers in all kinds of directions, you know. It doesn't mean that people are valuing that, or maybe they're taking it for granted, I don't know. I'm painting it for myself, the painting, but also painting it for others, you know. It's like, Because I know, not now, but I know these days that I can steer with my painting people in directions, but this magic spell or these effects work also in my direction from their perspective. So, which creates funny situations. So but it has to be everything has to be stay fair and professional. So that's important. That's important is the word simp in it. So not simp, but correct or not political correct. Political correct is anti-white. I'm talking about like just be. What, I mean, those questions here, this is like superficial, I'm answering them. I can do them in the next few days in a different way. What people with the, I'm painting it for, like, what is a graffiti writer or an ex-graffiti writer painting a painting? He wants to have like, oh, this is like an awesome style, this is so great, the painting, la-di-da-di-da. I don't care about what kind of effect it has. It will have then later a certain effect on the psyche. I know certain colors have this or that effect, yes, but it's also, sometimes I reckon, okay, also with other colleagues or their work, when I see stuff online or something, they're having integrated certain tricks or effects where they know they steer people, that they get more likes, or that people are doing this, or that the painting is doing well on auctions and stuff like that. And normal people or non-aware people are not getting that. I don't know. Maybe I should also do that. I don't know. What is inspiring? What should? What should I inspire people? I don't know. I'm thinking of making a lot of my paintings being pro-white, in terms of that people have more white babies, because we're at the brink of extinction, as well as integrating words or signals or codes which steer that, as well as ruin the paintings for leftists and anti-whites. Without integrating it on different levels, like direct, indirect, conscious, unconscious, blatant, subtle. Maybe I'm doing that, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I mean, it would be great, because, I must help my people. Yeah. But maybe I'm already doing that, because SEAK Claus Winkler can also mean like the very opposite way, It's like, just from the meanings or the connotations in my name, it has like a very ambivalent way. I can mean something in a painting or when I do something, but it has also the very opposite effect, which is like crazy. I mean, it's ask leftists, they are probably are the same. They're like preaching something, trying to achieve something, and then they're completely like, oh my God, now they know the others are doing it exactly the opposite way. Well, that's part of a message or like communication. It goes in all, the way people are interpreting things, it goes in all kinds of, So I hope this video was some kind of value for you. See you in the next video. I have to lose some weight here. Yes, I know. I hope it was interesting. SEAK Claus Winkler. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye. See you.